This is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down. Flying by these road signs with home on my mind, with these wheels turning round. For my family and for my kids, for this life I wanna live. And this is why I do this.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be kind of a weird show. As you can kind of tell, it's already bare bones. Let me tell you what's going on. We'll jump right into it. I'm not sure how many people is going to be here today with it being Labor Day. But on top of that, we got some other issues going on. So we'll just see how it goes. Get my hat on straight. So first of all, I go on here to set up this show today. And StreamYard, which is the service I use to do this, normally simulcasts it on several different platforms at the same time. I recently updated one of my debit cards, and so StreamYard didn't get paid. I didn't realize it. And so I'm having to do the free version of StreamYard today. It means I don't have my banner that goes across the bottom. It means that I can't simulcast it to the other social media deals. So at the end of this video, I'll put it out on all the other social media platforms, and hopefully people will see it on the replay. Those of you that can, share this video and tell your friends we're on right now so that they can come on and watch. I'm not expecting a big crowd today. I don't even know how long this video will go. I do got some stuff to talk about here on Labor Day though, so I hope you'll stick with me through it, and we'll jump right into it. But before we do, let's say hi to our last surviving 5 members, channel members. Hopefully a few of them will join us today. We've got Ramon, we've got Robbie Ross, we've got Corey Oatley, we've got Casey, and we've got Adam. Thank y'all for supporting the channel even in these slim times. We're going to talk about some of the slim times today. Do got some good news I want to share with you. As you guys know, a week from today is the day that I go back to the neurologist, and hopefully he gives me the letter I need to get my medical card again. Notice I said get my medical card and not drive again. I have not decided if I'll drive again or not, if I'll buy a truck, if I'll lease, if I'll remain or go back to being a company driver. I haven't made any decisions. If I'll stay at my current job. We're going to talk about my current job. I'm going to tell y'all some things about it that I've never said before. I'm also going to tell you my evaluation of how my health is going, things like that. So there's a lot to get to today. We'll try to get to it as quick as we can. And I'll try to get to your comments also as quick as I can. So as I said, this Monday coming up, a week from today, I'll be going to the neurologist. And hopefully he'll give me the letter that I need to take to go get my DOT physical done. And we'll see how that goes. The last time I saw the neurologist, he was happy with my progress. He said, Todd, I'd write you a letter right now, but I don't think, he said, well, I know you got to wait the 6 months. I said, yeah. So this will be that 6 month. It's specifically why we scheduled this appointment. And then September 14th, is when I'll go, or Wednesday, whenever I can. My new days off are changing. That's another thing we need to talk about. So not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, we're going to start having a live show on Wednesday evenings. It's probably going to be somewhere around 4:30 or 5 o'clock Central Time. And I'll let y'all know more about that as we get closer to that time. And then we're still going to do the Sunday show around 3 p.m., 3 to 4, somewhere in there. I'm still tweaking everything, figuring out how exactly to make it work. Actually, the Sunday show is going to be the hardest one to do because, as y'all know, I go to church, and then since I'm not going to be off on Saturdays anymore, I got to squeeze in how I'm going to see the grandkids and all of that. So don't worry, just stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. You'll get notifications when videos are coming out, and I'll try to keep y'all updated. I try to do it at the start of the video so I know everybody is on a tight schedule. And so I try to get that information out quick. So if you're in a hurry, you get it at the start of the video, and then you can come back and watch the rest of it later when you have time. So let's talk about uh, the trucking market. Let's talk about what I'm doing now, things like that. So I think those of you that have ever talked to me on the phone know this about me. And it's really frustrating. A lot of you have said, Todd, you've got to learn to take it easy. You've got to slow down. For as long as I can remember, and this isn't bragging, I know some of you are going to say I'm full of myself. I've always been one of the top people, not always the top, but one of the top people at anything I did. When I sold cars, I was always in the top two or three. And I mean, when I'm competing against 20, 25 salespeople. When I sold insurance, I was always one of the top people. Uh, when I worked at Swift, I was definitely the top driver there as far as pay went. And I did very well. To this day, even 2 years later, I still get a lot of Swift questions. I still get a lot of drivers that contact me. A lot of people still associate me with Swift and even Dart for that matter. And I'm fine with that. I don't badmouth either company. I still answer their questions, try to help them make good decisions, things like that. So, same thing with this job. And keep in mind, this is a union job. So I've never worked a union job before. But it's very important to me to be one of the top people at whatever I'm doing. I don't care if I'm picking potatoes out of a field. I want to be one of the best potato pickers there is. Try saying that 3 times fast. And in a union, the mindset's different. It's all about making quotas, being the status quo, not outperforming people by too much. And I want to give you an example. For this current month that it's not a current month anymore. We're in September now. But for the month of August, I exceeded my quota by over double. So the quota for my department is 3 per month. I did 7. And, you know, to me, I don't feel like I'm the best one there. I definitely feel like I'm above average. I don't have to be the best there, but I'd like to be in the top 10%. And I don't feel like I am right now. And there's several reasons for that. One of the big reasons is I have a manager that I'll have for about another week, and then I won't have to deal with him no more, that is very hands off. And there's certain functions of my job that you can't do without management approval. And they don't want you to put a customer on hold for more than 2 minutes. And so oftentimes it takes 5 or 6 minutes to find the guy. He's walking around, he's bebopping, not at his desk. He's outside smoking, doing whatever he's doing. And so you have to go to another manager. And the other managers don't like to help you because you're not on their team. So for somebody of a union mindset, that's fine. They just stall and delay, and they're fine with it. For a guy like me that wants to be the best he can be, it is extremely frustrating. So we had an issue happen on Friday. On Friday, I'm up there, and for over a month, I've been trying to get access to my check stubs. There's all kinds of stuff. The benefits portion, they added a new, what do they call it, double authentication or whatever, uh, where you have to go through another step to authenticate yourself. And it makes you create a 6-digit passcode. But then when you go back to sign in, it asks for an 8-digit passcode, and there's no way to create that 8-digit passcode. They said I needed to use a company device. So again, looking for my manager, took over an hour to find him this time. He shows up. He says somebody's using my company-owned device, and as soon as I get it back, I'll bring it to you. Well, by then the tech guy that I'm working with is gone. He's on to bigger and better things. So he's like, "Do you still need this?" I'm like, beats me. I don't know if I can get a hold of the guy again. So then he gets mad at me for not taking calls. I said, "Well, I've been trying to get this dealt with for 4 weeks. You're not handling it. When would you like me to handle this? And he's like, I don't know. I just need you to get on the phone. And anyway, it escalated. I said, well, I need you to be at your desk so that when I have an issue or something that needs management approval, I can find you. And so anyway, it escalated. And I told him, I said, don't you worry. Tuesday morning, when your bosses get back, we're going to deal with this. And Tuesday's going to be an eventful day at work. Again, I just have to survive this next week with him. Then I'm back on the team of a manager that I work really well with, that I actually learned a lot from. And, on Saturday, I worked some overtime. I've been working 6 days a week. And me and that manager and another manager were kind of laughing about it. And they were like, yeah, that guy, he's something else. He's not a good manager. He's not helpful. They were basically agreeing with me on everything. They're like, don't you worry, you're about to be back on our team, and we're glad to have you. You're really good. So I've got a week of this guy going to try to get rid of me, and then after that, it'll be smooth sailing. And that's why it's so important for me to get in there and talk to his managers on Tuesday, so that he can't squeeze me out before I get back in a good area again. And so that's why sometimes you'll ask me, do I like working where I'm working now? And I'll say yes sometimes, and I'll say no sometimes. Like, the benefits are great, insurance is great. Like today, I'm off with pay, it's holiday pay, and I work a 5-day week, 40 hours a week, unless I choose to work overtime, which I've been doing. I've been working 6 days a week. The pay is significantly less than what I made being a truck driver, but my health has got a lot better. At one point in time, and you can see it if you go back and watch some of my older videos, I was at 312 pounds. Now I weigh 233 as of yesterday morning. So I still want to lose another 40 pounds or so. I'm not saying that I'm fit. I'm not saying anything like that. I still got to get my blood sugar under control because I'm not eating as healthy. Ironically, I'm not eating as healthy as I was when I was a truck driver. At work, there's a lot of cupcakes, there's a lot of sweets, and you want to be part of the gang, so you participate and partake in that stuff maybe when you shouldn't. Even here at home, I don't want to just blame it on work. You go to the grocery store, because you can go to the grocery store every day now, and you see those little Debbie snack cakes, or you see the Twinkies, and you're tempted to buy them, and they're not good for you. About the only thing that's saving me is I'm drinking about a gallon a day of water, and so that helps. And I'm getting a lot of walking in at work, because as I've shared before, it's about a half-mile walk to my desk. It's another quarter of a mile at least to the bathroom. It's a huge facility, and there's some pros and cons to that as well. But yeah, it's just frustrating. So Todd, if you're a week away from being, or a week and a half away from being able to get your CDL back, or well, I've got my CDL, get your medical card back, why don't you go back to driving a truck? Why don't you buy another truck? Why don't you lease a truck? Well, right now, and I'm saying this for the benefit of those that aren't in the transportation industry, that aren't truck drivers, the economy is in the tank. And I think you know that when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the gas pump, when you just talk to people in general, most people are struggling or they're barely getting by. And so it's tough right now. I don't want to come back in when I don't have strong finances to begin with, and lose it all again. And I don't want to stress myself out. I've got to stay calm. And so um, there are some opportunities, some local, some regional opportunities around here. Uh, if this job that I'm currently doing fell through, I would definitely look at some of those opportunities. But I wouldn't be opposed to a lease type deal or a purchase type deal if the right opportunity came along. And I'm keeping an open mind for those things, and we'll see what happens. But before we go any further, let me get this in here. We've got a super chat from my good friend and channel member Robbie Ross, $20. Says the NFL season starts this week. Cowboys will be stomping on the dog pound. Let's go. Yes, sir. I am excited for the Cowboys to be back. It's a little bittersweet this year. Those of you that know, my dad recently passed away on August 8th. I was gone for a week for that deal because he lives lived on the other side of East Texas. As soon as we got the call, we hopped in the car and headed that way. And he lived a couple of days while I was there and then passed away. So I always associated the Cowboys with my grandfather, who, when I was a little kid, he knew very little about football. I'd go over and watch the Dallas Cowboys with him. And then later in life, I'd text with my dad during the game. We'd talk about the Cowboys, if they were doing good, if they were doing bad, what we thought about the game, things like that. And that's no longer an option no more. Now, I'm not going to try to mislead you. I'm definitely going to watch the Cowboys or listen to them on the radio whenever possible. Even at work, they have big screen TVs there, and I'll be able to watch the games as I work. Well, Sundays I'm off, but if it's a game Monday night or something like that, I'll be able to watch it at work Thursday night, things like that. But yeah, so it's going to be the first time I've watched a regular season game without either my grandfather or my father still around to discuss it and share our frustrations. So we'll see about that. But yeah, so that's what let me skip back to what we were saying about work. So yeah, it's really frustrating up there. Ideally, I had hoped by now the economy had rebounded and I could just come back to trucking. My family really don't want me to do it because of the weight loss and how my health is doing. But financially, I may have no other choice. So, another thing I wanted to discuss, everybody's asking about my health. I think I'm pretty close to 100% again. Still not great with fine motor skills. If I drop a small screw on the ground or something, sometimes it's hard to pick up. Still stutter occasionally, but I think everybody does from time to time. So I'm not sure that that's a limiter. As far as skills, being able to move that right arm and stuff, everything's fine back to like what it was. So I would classify myself maybe in the 90% range. I don't know that I'll ever be 100%. I don't know that I was 100% before the strokes. But either way, we're going to find out this Monday, and I'm excited, and I can't wait to tell y'all what they say. All right, let's jump into some of these comments. I've rambled for 18 minutes now. Channel member Robbie Ross, and also the author of that $20 super chat we just got, says, "Hello, friends from Indy, picking up my load to Buckeye, Arizona, Wally World." So, Robbie Ross, we were talking earlier this week. I think it's okay to say what I'm about to say. He works at Dart Transit, and he's been doing very well over there lately. Had a few minor truck issues lately, like had to replace his batteries, things like that. But seems pretty happy over there. And they seem to be treating him good. He's getting a lot more loads to Arizona, which, for those that know about Dart, they used to stay east of I-35 for the most part. They had a couple of loads going to California, but they reserved them for people that lives out there. He lives in Phoenix or in the Phoenix area, and they're doing a fine job of getting him back out to Arizona a lot more. So he seems like he's fell into a groove and pretty happy doing what he's doing. Gary Cook says, "Hello, everyone. Happy Labor Day. I'm listening from Dothan, Alabama. I'm very familiar with Dothan. I used to know some people that live there. I did have my first bad fish experience in Dothan. I went there one time. This was years ago, probably 20 years ago. And I was going on this date, and I'd known the girl for a little while. She wanted me to meet her parents. So we went to this fish place. And I thought, I'm going to order the fish. And they brought the fish out, and it still had the fins and everything on it. It was so embarrassing. I got sick, and they ended up taking it back and bringing me a hamburger. I guess I was naive, or whatever word you want to use. I did not know that you could buy fish at a restaurant with the gills and the fins and everything still on it. I thought it was a fillet, and so it was a little bit embarrassing. And Matter of fact, it was so embarrassing. I never saw the girl again after that. I said, nah, I think we're done. T Stifler, I'm glad it finally got my settings fixed so I can start watching my favorite guys again. The mess literally been 6 months. Yeah, and let me see if I can say this without getting myself in trouble. YouTube plays some funny business too. They will take away your subscriptions. They will not send you notifications. As your channel gets larger, they're better about it, but I mean, they're incentivized, whether they'll admit it or not, to uh, to not have you have a large channel because they don't want to pay. And so that's why I know you guys get sick of hearing me say, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. That's for a reason. For one, you can look up one morning and your subscription's gone. So it's free to do. Just make sure you're subscribed and click that bell and select all so that you get notifications when future stuff comes out. But the thumbs up spreads it to more people. It says, hey, you like the content, you like what we're doing. And so they suggest it to more people. That's why all these YouTubers say that in every one of their videos or almost every one of their videos. Trust me, we don't like saying it any more than you like hearing it. It's just part of the housekeeping stuff we got to do to keep our channels alive. And I got to preface that by saying this, or some troll will eat me alive. I'm not saying that my channel's doing great right now. As a matter of fact, revenue wise, I'm making about a fourth of what I was in my heyday. And so, um, having said that, I still appreciate each and every one of you that show up week after week and the text messages asking if I'm okay and when I'm going to make another video. But I realize that my channel's in a little bit of trouble right now. I'm still making money. I don't want to over exaggerate or make it sound worse than what it is, but it's definitely gone down. I knew it would when I had the strokes and couldn't drive, but those of you that have stuck with me through it, I really appreciate you. And I still think at some point we're going to re-enter the transportation arena in some form or factor. And I'm going to be really grateful to those of you that stuck with me through all of this. And I still have a lot of contacts within transportation. So if you're having some issues with your company, email me at todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll try to see if I can help or assist in any way. T. Stifler says, load in West Memphis, headed to Knoxville, going home for 3 or 4 days. Hell yeah, that does sound good. Yeah, home time. Nothing wrong with that. How long do you usually stay out? Gary Cook says, I'm thinking about getting out of the owner operator game. It's getting extremely hard to make ends meet anymore. I'm possibly even filing for bankruptcy and getting a fresh start. I blew it. Well, um, obviously, I can't give you financial advice, Gary, but I don't think you blew it. I think this is just a tough time. I think even a lot of medium-sized carriers aren't making it. Recently, A&A Express, who I thought would never go under, went under. You know, Yellow Freight went under. I never thought I'd see that day. U.S. Express got bought out by Knight Swift. So I don't think it's just you. Whether or not you have to file bankruptcy or not is a personal decision only you can make. But um, that's why I'm getting distrustful of a lot of companies, because you see these ads, oh, we're grossing $10,000 a week. No, you're not. Maybe you are, your drivers aren't. And, everybody, the calls I get, the emails I get, oh, trucking's great, Trucker Todd. As soon as you get your medical card, come with us. Everything will be roses and sunshine, rainbows and butterflies. And I know it's a lot more like Gary's saying. People are struggling, people are hurting. Um, and even at my job currently that I have, I get calls every day from truck drivers, and they're telling me, man, it's tough out here, Todd. And they don't know who I am. They don't know I'm Trucker Todd. They think I'm just some guy working at the company they're calling. But they're telling me, oh, it's tough out here. And so I definitely understand. I sympathize with you, but you're a smart guy. And Maybe there's an opportunity to be a company driver where you're at. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of company driving jobs. But even that's not safe right now because the economy is just so bad that companies are going under. And if you can hang on, but don't lose everything for a truck. And that's easier said than done, I know. And it's going to weigh heavily in what I do in the next few months. But it is going to get better. But the question is, can you hang on until it does? And how do I know it's going to get better? Because it has to. We have to have a transportation industry in this country. We have to. And that's going to require trucks. You say, well, what about the rail? The rail can take it close, but there's some places the rail don't go, and you still got to have trucks take it from the train to the warehouse and from the warehouse to the store. And so there's always going to be trucks and there's always going to be transportation. And there can't be neither of those if there's no profit to be made. And so let's see what happens in a couple of months with the new administration. You say, "Oh, you're thinking Trump's going to win." No, if Kamala wins, it's still a new administration. Right now, Biden's in office, so either way, we're going to have a new administration. For the most part, I feel like she'd do mostly what Biden did, and for the most part, I feel like Trump would do mostly what Trump did when he was in office. And so you have to look at both scenarios and see which one you think would benefit you more and make that decision. Don't worry so much about if she's promiscuous or has been in her past. Don't worry so much about if Trump hurts your feelings on Twitter. Look at their policies and see which one you think is better for yourself and better for the country. Channel member Robbie Ross says, sorry to hear that, Gary. Yeah, Gary is one of those guys that he's stuck with me through good and bad. And so it really makes me sad that to hear that he's struggling, that things aren't going great for him right now. Another friend of mine that I met him back in the dark days, he bought a truck and he's working for Legends Transportation. And he's not doing their lease purchase. He started off there and made enough money to buy his own truck. And he just had a transmission go out and got lucky it was covered under warranty. And he said it's pretty tough over there too right now. He's making money, but he's just trying to hang on until things get better. So it's not a particular company. I can't tell Gary, well, Gary, your problem is you're just at the wrong company. If you'd go to ABC Trucking over here, your situation would be a whole lot better because it's bad everywhere. You know, I had people this week email me, what about Swift? What about Swift? Well, first of all, I haven't worked at Swift in about 2 years. And so I don't know what it's like currently over there. Most of the people I knew that was working there have left. So it seems like things might have gone in a negative direction after I left. Man, I'm not saying that's because of me. Don't get it wrong. I'm not saying that, oh, it was great when I was there and it got bad when I left. They've had some leadership changes. They've had some management changes, and all of those things factor in. And they've had some economic changes. Let's be honest. I made the most money I've ever made with any company at all, inside or outside of trucking, when I worked there. Some of it was because of the exposure from YouTube. Some of it was for my work at Swift, but I did very well there. So I can't come on here and trash them and go, oh, you ain't going to make any money at Swift. But um, I can't come on here and say, yeah, you go there and you'll make 2,000 a week right now or 2,500 a week. I don't know. I hadn't been there in 2 years. I can just tell you what my experience, what it was like when I was there. If you have problems, I can get you in contact with people I know there that may be able to help. One thing I've learned, have money in the bank and not a huge burden of debt before buying a truck. It can all go downhill fast. Very great advice. Yeah. And it's true for anything, any major purchase. If you're going to buy a house, if you're going to buy a truck, try to get your debt down. And if you don't, you're burdening yourself. And you hear these guys, well, I've got an SFI truck and it's 1,300 a week, it's 1,400 a week. There's some pros and cons to that. For one, it's a 36-month lease, which is good. The odds of you being able to pay 36 months is a lot better than a 72-month lease like a lot of companies have. The downside to that is that at the end there's a balloon payment. So during that 36 months, you better be pocketing a lot of money for that balloon payment. They may or may not finance it at the end. They kind of go back and forth on that. And the other downside is if you have a breakdown, they still want their payment every Thursday or Friday or whatever day it is. If you go down and it's 3 weeks before they can get the part for your truck, they still want a truck payment for 3 weeks. Now, I know in some rare circumstances they'll move a truck payment to the end, but they're not going to do that every time you have an issue. If you got a Freightliner and that one box goes out and you're down a few weeks, they still want their money and they'll draft it out of your account. And so what it does is it shackles you. And I got on here and I was critical of another company, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But you might have home time scheduled. You might have a family reunion or a birthday. And if you spend 2 weeks in the shop in Wyoming and then they get your truck out of the shop, you got to run because all of a sudden you're in debt. And that can be tough if you've been a company driver for a lot of years and you're used to going home when it's time to go home and not missing family functions and things like that. Now, can you make more money? You could. You could also make less money. And so I never tell somebody to do it for the money specifically. You have to do it for the right reasons. And I can't tell you what the right reasons are. There's a million reasons. Your goal may just be truck ownership. Maybe you're of an entrepreneurial mindset and you function better that way. That's me. And several people, friends, not management, they've said, "Man, Todd, you seem like a leader. You seem like a business owner. It's got to be tough for you to work for somebody else." And I said, "Yeah, it's extremely tough." Um, and so it just depends on your mindset. It depends on your bookkeeping skills, which is by far my weakest area. And so I usually associate myself with a good accountant. I did have one. Y'all saw how that went. So I'm not going to talk about him, but yeah, it's there's a lot to it, and it's not for everybody. As a matter of fact, it's not for most people. Most people should never be buying or leasing a truck. T. Stifler says, "Hey Todd, hey T. Stifler, thank you for being here, by the way." Jesus, name above all names, says, "God bless you, Todd." Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I was talking to her some this week. And that's another cool thing about this. This channel started, I was talking to a lot of owner operators. I was talking to a lot of people in the lease purchase circles, but now we're starting to get into company drivers. We're starting to get into uh, new drivers, people that are entering the trucking uh, world. And I'm always curious what made them pick trucking. Why do they want to be a truck driver? Even now in a terrible economy, there's still really good reasons to become a truck driver. For example, if you've always wanted to see the country, it's a very cheap way to do it. Now, granted, you may not see what you want to see, but nowadays, now when I started, this wasn't around. Now we've got Uber, Lyft, things like that. Back when I started, you had to rent a car, and it could be kind of costly to do some of the things you wanted to do. But there's a lot of options available now if you want to see the country. Uh, for some of you, it's the most money you've ever made in your life, even if it's terrible pay in the trucking spheres. Some of you, if you make $600 or $800 a week, it's the most money you've ever made in your life, especially if you're young. Um, some of you are not people. People. I crack me up. And what I mean by that is you like to be alone. You're kind of a loner. And trucking fits you well because you don't have to deal with people uh, for long periods of time. You show up at a shipper receiver, you make your delivery, you go on. You talk to your dispatcher 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a couple times a week, maybe once a day. And so it gives you the peace and solace that you're looking for. Some of you got problems at home and you get on the truck to escape those problems. So there's definitely a lot of reasons to become a truck driver. Some of you, let's just call it what it is. You don't have a house And I'm not making fun or putting anybody down. I was in that situation for 4.5 years. My physical residence was at my parents', but I really lived in the truck like a lot of you do. And there's no shame in that either. There's a million reasons why we all end up where we're at. Some of it is life and circumstance, and some of it's the decisions we make. And so I'm not looking down on anybody for doing whatever it is that makes you happy or you want to try. Red Raider Reloading. Hello, Todd and the Trucker Gang. Yeah, something I haven't heard anybody call it lately is the Gorilla Gang. But yeah, thank you for being here, Red Raider Reloading. I wanted to mention this too. I didn't mention this earlier in the video, or maybe I did. I don't remember. Um, I think I did. I changed debit cards. And so if you're wondering, if you're watching this as a replay, you're wondering why you didn't get a notification. It didn't send it out to LinkedIn. It didn't send it out to X. It didn't send it out to Facebook. So if you didn't get a notification, you're having to watch it on the replay. That's why I didn't update my debit card in StreamYard. And so it canceled and I'm having to use the free version. There wasn't time to do it before the show started. And quite honestly, that's why I started the show a couple of minutes late today. I was trying to fix it before the show, but there wasn't time. The reason I did the intro that I did, it was the only one that I could upload quickly. The other two, I'll have to add them back on there. And shoot, they may come back on there when I pay the subscription fee again. And so, which is kind of funny because, I get criticized uh, by a lot of people, and it's mostly people that aren't monetized. They're like, "Oh, I can't believe you try to make money on this and you try to make money on that." A lot of people don't realize the time and effort that goes into producing one of these videos, the time and effort you spend on the phone. And so, if I can monetize and get some commercials played and make some money that way, or sell a product, get a free product, and tell you if it's good or bad, of course I'm going to do it, just like you would. You know, I hear truck drivers gripe all the time. Well, I don't get paid to fuel. I don't get paid to drop and hook. So when I hear that, I think, all right, you want to get paid for everything you do. Well, I'm the same way. I want to get paid for everything I do. Now, having said that, I don't do any endorsements where they tell me what to say, what to think, anything like that. And a lot of them try. Most of them try. They say, hey, we'd like to view the video before you put it out. I say, I'm sorry, I don't operate that way. If you send me something, I'm going to test it when I want to, where I want to, how I want to, and I'm going to tell the truth about it, good or bad. Some of them do offer me a commission. Some of them just say, well, you get to keep the product. And depending on what it is, if it's something I think I can use, like these earphones in my ear, these EKSA S30s, I like these things. The more I use them, the more I like them. They're very comfortable. If I were to start driving a truck again, that's the ones I'd wear. You can only wear one ear if you want to, so I can be legal in the truck. I'll just take one ear out. And so I use those. The deal they sent me a while back that you can charge, it's a triple charging thing. You can charge your watch, your phone, and some ear pods at the same time. I still use that thing. Well, I gave it to my wife recently, but yeah, I still use that stuff. The internet, I went through a few internets, and somebody was real critical of me the other day because I hadn't done a follow-up video, kind of a long-term review. But I didn't just want to use it for a couple of weeks and get it a review. I wanted to use it for a couple of months and give a review so that I could kind of test it in all weather conditions and things like that. And so I'm trying to get that video put together where I talk about what home internet service I'm using now and how I arrived at that choice. And that'll be coming out hopefully in the next week or two, as soon as I can get time to do it. My problem working 6 days a week is I just don't have any free time anymore. But I'm looking forward to doing 2 live shows a week, getting back to that. Looks like it's going to be on Wednesdays and Sundays, and look for more information to follow on that soon. What I'll do is I'll put out a community post. Those of you that got my number can text me. And if you're subscribed, you'll get notifications when we start doing that. T. Stifler says, month and a half. That's what I was told with CFI. You come over here, we're going to pay you good. Everything else, I've done nothing but a lie. Well, and that's the other problem between drivers getting referral bonuses and telling you anything to get you in the truck, and recruiters getting bonuses and telling you anything to get you in the truck, and even reviews online oftentimes. I mean, I've seen stuff. I'm not going to name the company on here, but a company that I worked exactly 91 days because I was contractually obligated to work for them for that long, said, if you'll leave us a good review on Google, we'll give you $100 at the end of orientation. And I refused the $100. I said, no, I'm going to put how I really feel. And so there's a lot of stuff, and it's a shame because and this is where the CB used to come in good, and now even I don't know if I'd even trust that now because drivers will criticize companies they've never even worked at, especially if it's a mega carrier. And I'll be the first to say most mega carriers are bad. Most ATA companies are bad. I'll be the first to say that. But you can't group everybody in one thing. Not all men are bad. Not all women are bad. Not all trucking companies are bad. Not all lease purchases are bad. Most may be. And so it's just so hard to get accurate information now and know what's fact and what's fiction. So I hate that CFI has been rough for you. I had an uncle that worked for CFI for a little while. He told me the same thing. He's like, Todd, don't ever go to CFI. Sorry, I'm eating while I do this. Gary Cook says cat scales went up again. First weigh is $14. Let me get a drink real quick. You know what my thoughts are on that? It's almost like price gouging. Cat scales has some cost associated with that. You know, they've got to calibrate the scales, but for the most part, it costs them nothing to have those scales there. There's no reason why a first weigh shouldn't be $5. No reason whatsoever. They would still make money. The truck stop would make money. And that's what would impress me now. Anything trucking related is if truck stops or cat scales or anything trucking related said, you know what, the economy is rough right now. For the next 90 days, we're going to do cat scales at half price. For the next 90 days, CDL holders get 10% off in our restaurant. Something like that. We're here for you drivers. We're going to help you out. Instead, what we're seeing is times are tough right now. To help you drivers out, we're going to start charging for parking. We're going to start, things like that. It's crazy. And the problem is everybody needs truck drivers, but nobody wants to help truck drivers. Jesus, name above all names says, what kind of work are you doing right now, if you don't mind the question? So the company I'm working for right now has asked me, they've asked me for two things. They've asked me not to name them on my videos because it could go south real quick. They realize that. And they've asked me not to promote myself to their customers at work. So I can't get on the phone with a customer and go, yeah, I'm Trucker Todd on YouTube. Now, all the employees there know who I am, and some of them even watch this channel. And they've been asked to not state it in the comments where I work, anything like that. Now, we all know at some point it's going to get out, and once it gets out, it gets out. I'm not going to be the one that reveals it. What I do is retention work. When customers call and they want to cancel their services with the company I work for, I try to talk them out of canceling. I even sell them products when I can, when it makes sense. And so there's a little bit of sales, there's a little bit of mediation, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. and it's really challenging and fun. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I can't say the specific place yet. Obviously, if I get fired this next week, I'll come on here and we'll roast the company for hours. And but as long as I'm gainfully employed there, they've asked me not to say where I'm working. Reways are 450. See, that's what a first way should cost, not a reway. I think the first way should be uh, $5. I think the reways, like one or two reways, should be free. It doesn't cost them nothing but a piece of paper. And then after that, they charge $5 again or something like that. And even, I'm not saying permanently lower it. Do it for 90 days. Say, hey, drivers, we're here for you. Advertise it on Sirius XM, and it would be good publicity if a truck stop chain would come out and say, hey, we're never going to charge for parking. You have our promise, we're never going to charge for parking. Think of what kind of publicity they'd get. What if they had 1 week a month where if you 1 week a month they offered free showers, or a couple of days a month they offered free showers? Think of the advertising that would get for them. That's the problem, is they don't know how to market themselves. So 1 day a month they have free showers there. It doesn't cost them hardly anything. It gets guys to go there that normally don't go there. Well, what are they going to do when they go there? They're going to buy a fountain drink. They're going to buy a coffee. They might eat in the restaurant. You give them a shower. It costs you a couple of bucks to wash the towels and clean it, for the labor and everything, maybe $3 or $4. And it's advertisement for the truck stop. You go, man, that was nice of them. I think I'm going to start buying fuel there. They don't think far enough outside the box. Just my opinion. Red Raider reloading, sitting at home with a pinched nerve in my lower back that radiates into my thigh and growing. Ah, that's no good. I was on muscle relaxers a couple of months ago for lower back pain too. I couldn't hardly move, and they gave me some, and those things worked well. I was still alert and able to function, but I could move my back again. And so yeah, hopefully that gets straightened up. You know, a lot of people don't realize that driving a truck is really hard on your back. We know it's hard on your health in general. You gain weight, you have circulation problems, but the bouncing, even with the air ride seats, over time will take a toll on your back. And I've got some degenerative arthritis in my lower back. Not real bad, but I do have some, and it flares up from time to time. Especially if I sleep on a bed I'm not used to sleeping on, I'll have a couple of days of soreness. Gary Cook says every trucking company has its ups and downs. Everything does. That's like if you guys were to ask me right now, pros and cons of any trucking manufacturer, I could tell you some good things about them. I could tell you some bad things about them. Same thing with truck engines. You tell me, even pick the worst diesel engine ever put in a truck. Max Force, that I-Force engine International had that almost bankrupted J.B. Hunt. There's still a couple of pros to having a Max Force, even now. For one, I'll just give you an example. The ones that have still survived to this day, and there's not many, they've got the bugs worked out of them. You can buy those trucks for $6,000-8,000 now because nobody wants them. So if you needed to buy a truck right now and you didn't have much money, that'd be a way to get one. Might be a good option, might be a bad option, but it would be an option. And same thing with Freightliner. I can tell you good and bad about them. Peterbilt, Kenworth, Mack, they all have their pros and cons, just like trucking companies do, just like people do. And I think we forget that sometimes. How's Scott doing? I thought about calling him, but never did. So I talked to Scott. It's probably 2 weeks ago. He was doing good. Um, he was saying the same thing. He said his guys are getting pretty good loads, but he said they're spending longer looking for them. And for those that don't know, SRO Logistics was where I was working when I had my strokes on March 14th. It was the best company I've ever worked for. Good guys. If you want to know more about them, safety at srologistics.com. Safety at srologistics.com. Scott and his wife are the owners of that company. If you're wondering who Scott is, great guy. He's been very supportive during this whole recovery process. If all things was equal, that's where I would like to go back to work to. We'll see what the economy does. But that's what he said. He said his guys are getting good loads right now, but he said they're having to spend some time looking for them. Whereas before you could find them pretty quick. Now they're taking their time and finding the best loads. So if you don't mind looking for a needle in a haystack, and maybe that's not the best analogy here, if you don't mind some digging through the piles of loads to find the good ones, he says they're still out there. And his company has a really good reputation for the brokers, and so that works to your advantage a lot. If any of you are looking for a great place to work, email him at safety@srologistics.com and tell him you watch Trucker Todd. He'll get a kick out of that. Thomas Collins says he's happy. That's great. Give us more information. What are you doing? Ah, okay. I missed it. He says, Happy Labor Day. Okay, happy Labor Day to you too. I thought you meant you were happy at the trucking company you were at. Gary Cook, being a truck driver runs in my family, so I guess it's in my blood. Yeah, a lot of people have said that to me, that they feel like it's in my blood, and I don't know if it is or nothing or not. I enjoy it, but I enjoy what I'm doing now most of the time. I'm one of those people that I can find happiness in anything I'm doing. T. Stifler, well, I was a contractor for 30 years and got sick, had to go on disability, wasn't able to provide for my family, so I got my health back with school to be a truck driver, took a 6-week course in True. Well, that's not too far from my story. I had been in a real bad car accident, and on Labor Day of '96, and I went to a truck driving school that was 2 weeks long, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and got my CDL. And my plan was to go to work at Swift for a year and then get a local job working for Coke or Pepsi. And that never materialized. And I ended up getting a dedicated run with Swift where I was home every day. And my very first trucking job, I worked there 4.5 years. I did about 11 months of over the road with Swift, and then I got that dedicated deal where I was home every day. And so that's how I ended up at Swift for 4.5 years the first time. And so it's uh it's one of those deals, they say tell God your plans and watch him laugh. And it's one of those deals. What I planned to happen and what actually happened were on opposite ends of the spectrum for sure. Gary Cook, dat load board, the pricing is supposed to go up in October. How much? How much are they going up? Are we talking $5 or $10, or are we talking about a big jump? And everything's going up. I know on my cell phone, everybody knows I got AT&T for cell phone service. They went up on a bunch of their plans. My plan did not go up. I saw on the news this morning that T-Mobile's about to go up on some of their rates. And so it's everything's going up, and a lot of it could be attributed to inflation and the market and everything else. But I don't think it's the right time for companies to be striking. I just mentioned AT&T. They're having a technician strike and a call center strike, from what I understand, in the southeast, kind of Atlanta area. So, I mean, these are the kind of things that take companies down. You got to know, as Kenny Rogers said, when to hold them and when to fold them. And it's not the best time to be attacking a company when they're barely keeping their head above water. Same thing with these trucking companies. Um, if you're working anywhere right now, you need to be trying to deliver your freight on time, because uh, these shippers, it's a shipper's market right now. And if your company has a couple of late deliveries, they'll just go to somebody else. Somebody else is willing to haul their freight just as cheap as you are. And so you've got to keep that revenue coming for your that revenue coming for your company, whether you're an independent or whether you're working for a company, because just a couple of loads could get you squeezed out. Cat Scale is the largest truck weighing company out there. Oh yeah, definitely by far, not even close. Market share wise, I bet they've got 85% of the market share, maybe more. They definitely dominate in that field. And you're right, the point you're making there, that because they don't have any real credible competition, there's no incentive to make people leave them and go somewhere else because of pricing. Now, you could argue that some of these onboard systems might be a direct competitor to them, and that proves my point. If CatScale would do something to lower their prices instead of increasing them, that might deter people from buying these onboard systems. Uh, Hassan Terrell says, "Hi there, happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, my friend. Thank you for being here." T. Stifler says, "My load is ready. I cannot believe it. I'm happy." Yeah, I bet. I was always reluctant to pick up or deliver a load on a holiday. I tried to be in transit during the holiday because it seems like warehouses would always have something go wrong. The forklift would break down. The forklift driver would call in sick. The guy that pulled the load didn't get it pulled, and I'd end up sitting. So I always tried to make sure I was in transit during holidays or at home. Red Raider Reloading said, "Glad to see your health is improving." Yeah, this is the first week I can say I really feel a whole lot better. I'm still getting some headaches, but I mean, that's part of that's just getting old. It's hard to know how much of this is stroke related and how much of it's just I'm a 51-year-old man. Hey, my good friend Mark Ely is here. What's up, everyone? Not much, man. We're just chilling on a Labor Day. After this show, I'm going over to my uncle's house. They're doing a bunch of cooking. I'm gonna hang out with them for a little bit. Ah, that's all right. Skyline says, "Sorry, I'm late. Out with the family at the moment." That's all right. You can catch it on the replay. I had some problems with StreamYard. I don't want to go back and rehash all of that, but it's going to go out to all the social media platforms later. That it's the only one it's hitting right now is YouTube, but it'll go out to the other social media platforms within 5 or 10 minutes of this show ending. And I figure most people are going to watch it on the replay. Enjoy that family time. Happy Labor Day, says Skyline. Yes, sir. Happy Labor Day to you as well, my friend. Roger Berry says, "Dang, I'm sorry at home." That's all right, man. Enjoy your home time, and we'll catch us on the replay. Enjoy your home time. I totally understand. Mark Ely, I paid 131.45 for 2 bags of groceries. Yeah, the it's been a couple of weeks ago. We went to the grocery store, and just for two people, it was $300, and we really didn't get that much stuff. We did get some stuff, put it in the deep freeze, things like that. But uh, in the past, not that long ago, that would have been a month's worth of groceries. So prices have definitely gone up, and everybody's feeling it right now. I don't know anybody that says, "I'm doing great. This economy's not affecting me at all." And so it's got to get better soon. Hopefully it will. Adam says, "Happy Labor Day. Sorry, working on the combine, so we can start harvesting." I understand, my friend. If you need to, listen to the replay while you're driving that combine. Steve Given, "Hey Todd, are you back trucking yet?" Not yet. I go to the doctor a week from today, next Monday, and if he gives me the green light on the 14th, I can get my medical card, and then we'll make that decision. As we've been talking about it most of the show, we're going to wait and see what the economy does. It doesn't make sense to come back if I might get laid off or if I might potentially make the same as what I'm making now or less and jeopardize my health and also I'm just I'm in kind of a holding pattern right now, waiting to see what happens. Roger Berry says, dang, I'm sorry, mowing the yard on home time. I will catch the rerun in the morning on the way to Grand Prairie, Texas. Hope all is well, my friend. Everyone, be careful, stay safe. All right, thanks, Roger Berry. Be careful mowing the yard. And I say be careful in a lot of areas. It's super hot. Here, it is raining and kind of overcast. So nobody's mowing their yard today here, but I'll definitely have to do it probably on my next day off because it'll be all grown up. Of course, at this apartment, it's just a small backyard. You mow it with a weed eater, ain't much to it. T. Stifler says, I'll have this Pepsi load delivered 2 days early. Oh, that's awesome if they'll take it. Some of those Pepsi distribution places I've been to, they wouldn't take it early. I'm glad you've got one that will. Mark Ely, I find better deals at Costco. Yeah, I haven't told my Costco story in a while, so I'll tell it. So we used to get all our prescriptions at Costco. Used to love going to Costco. Like you, they had great deals. And back when the virus was going around that starts with a C that I can't say the name of on here because YouTube gets mad at me, um, they got onto me. I walked in the store without a mask. And they said, "Oh, we can't let you in. You don't have a mask on." And I said, I pointed to somebody. I said, "Well, that guy right there don't have a mask on." They said, "Oh, well, he might have a medical condition that doesn't require him to wear a mask." I said, "Well, how do you know I don't have a medical condition?" And I said, "How do you know he does? Did you ask him?" "No, we can't ask." Well, then why are you asking me? Anyway, it escalated. I said, "You know what? I'm just going to cancel my membership." And I haven't gone back in there since. I probably need to get over it at some point and go back in there. The problem is when there's only two people in the house and you have to buy in such large quantities, it's hard to do that. But we've got a deep freeze and everything, and I know we'd like to both go back in there at some point, so I'm sure we will. I just that kind of left a sore taste in my mouth that I hadn't got over yet. Going to sit there and hold me up and not let me in the store because I don't have a mask on. And people are literally walking by me without a mask on. Mark says, I'm scared to look at my profit and loss. I know I took 92 days off this year, but these rates suck. Yes, sir. I appreciate the honesty because I'm not kidding. I get people calling and emailing and texting every day. Oh, it's great, Todd. You need to come work with us as soon as you get your medical card. And I know better. And I'm not going to get on here and say, hey, come to this company. It's all roses and rainbows when it's not. Now, if I go there and I'm making a lot of money, then I'll tell you, yeah, it's great. And here's why. Here's what I'm doing. But I'm not going to say that just to say that. Mark says, you look thinner, my brother. Yes, sir. Down to 233 pounds as of yesterday morning. If you go back and watch some of my old videos, I was 312 at one point. So I've lost, what is that, 89 pounds, something like that. Steve Given, do you keep in touch with 404 Dave and Coach? Are they still at Swift? So I don't know, to be honest. I know Coach is not there. 404 Dave was there last time I talked to him, but it's been a few months ago. Um, Here's what a lot of people don't realize about that. We were friendly to each other, but we were never what I would call best friends. We were two or three noticeable personalities at the same company, and so our paths did cross some. There was opportunities for us to do things together on video, like live streams and things like that. But um, when I left Swift, we were doing different things. I was running the spot market. They were doing the Swift thing. And then Coach left, and Coach was doing kind of the spot market thing. And then he got that deal doing concerts and hauling those U-Haul boxes and stuff like that. And then 404 Dave stayed there and was training and and doing that thing. So our lives went in different directions, and So we don't stay in touch now. Uh, Occasionally, and I mean it's rare, 404 Dave will message me maybe once or twice a year. Haven't heard anything out of Coach. He's kind of got out of the social media world. He's kind of gone back to being a regular person, and nothing wrong with that. It's really respectable. You think about your favorite TV show. At some point, it ends, and sometimes it ends badly, like The Blacklist, and you're mad for years and years. And sometimes it ends really good. And same thing with YouTube. These channels all have a lifespan. They're going to all end at some point, and they may migrate to another social media network if the next thing that comes out ends up being a YouTube replacement. Think about MySpace years ago. It got replaced by Facebook. At some point, Facebook will get replaced. Same thing. This channel has a life cycle. I don't know what that life cycle is. It's definitely on a downward trajectory right now because of the things that's happened in my life. I haven't been able to do what I could do before. The amount of videos and phone calls and things that I did before. I'm out of trucking temporarily, probably. I say that to mean that I'm going to be in transportation in some format. So it's harder for me to do what I did before. That doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way, though. I enjoy doing this, and I'm going to continue doing it. If we get down to only 10 people watching, I'm still going to continue doing it. It's fun to do. It's a good stress reliever. I still help people. And so for that reason, I'm going to continue it. But yeah, that's good on Coach. He was able to step out and enjoy his regular life out of the spotlight. And he had a good run. He had a big channel, and he did what he wanted to do, like him or not, love him or hate him. And so that's a decision, a personal decision he made with him and his family, and good for him. I wish him the best, whatever he's doing now. But no, I haven't talked to him in probably close to a year, maybe longer, to the best of my recollection. I gladly email my profit and loss, just don't tell me what's in it. Exactly, exactly. That way you don't have to see it. If they act happy, then you know it's good and you might peek at it. But if they're like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that, then you go, oh, I better not look at it. And Robbie Ross, channel member, I had my procedure a couple of weeks ago. They shot Botox into my bladder. I'm happy to say it's working. Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear. Glad that is working. All right, we're caught up on the comments. We're just over an hour in. Uh, as I mentioned in a little bit, I'm going to my uncle's for, they're kind of doing a cookout thing, and maybe going to my son's too. I haven't talked to him yet. So we'll see how the day plays out. I'm going to go do some things with family. Some of y'all have said that you're doing stuff with family. We may wrap it up here pretty soon unless y'all got some more stuff you want to talk about. Before we do, though, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it on your social media platforms, especially today where I'm having some StreamYard issues. And make sure you're subscribed and click all so that you receive notifications when future videos come out. Recently, somebody asked me what's it cost to subscribe. It is free to subscribe, so do that. It doesn't cost you anything. There is a channel membership option that's not a great deal right now because I hadn't been able to put a lot of content on there. As I said, working 6 days a week, but I'm trying to get to work on that. I'm hoping with now having Wednesdays off that in the mornings I can produce videos and release them throughout the week and still do 2 live shows. And so y'all keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Hopefully I can do that and things will get better. But if you want to spend a little money, it's like $5 a month to become a channel member. Please consider doing that. From time to time, some of the viewers will gift memberships. And if you're somebody that comments a lot on here, you might receive a gifted membership. YouTube selects who gets those. I don't have any say in that. But anyway, it looks like the comments have dried up. So I'm going to get off of here and get ready to go to my uncle's house. You guys have a great Labor Day, and we'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.